Hi, everyone. This is Dan Lieberman with East Bay Community Energy. Thanks for participating in today's webinar on understanding your PG&E bill as an EBCE customer. This is good information for you to have in hand, and won't take too long for me to walk you through the steps. So I'm going to walk through this relatively quickly. I'll provide an example of a bill and show you how you can see the charges and find your savings on your bill every month on your PG&E bill. And there's an opportunity there for you to key in a question, which I can address at the end. And then if you have lingering questions about your bill or there's anything you don't understand, my contact info is on the last slide, and I'd be happy to just sit down with you and look over your blue bill, which I can pull up on my computer and talk you through. So without further ado, I will click through and address the topic at hand, which is your bill. So as you all probably know, EBCE provides a generation service that replaces the generation service that PG&E has provided you in the past. And so that means these charges are charges that replace old charges. They're not duplicate charges when you see EBCE charges. They're replacing what you would have paid to PG&E. And then for that reason, PG&E provides a credit on your bill. So remember that PG&E provides all of the billing services. We don't send you a bill. All of the charges that we have appear on your PG&E bill, and you make a single bill payment. So our charges appear on the bill with the charges that you pay PG&E. And whereas you used to receive your charges in a bundled fashion, when EBCE becomes your provider, several of the charges are unbundled, meaning they take a large number and they break it down into its subcomponents. And so what I'll explain today is how those subcomponents appear. And because it's unbundled, that's why you now see a credit from PG&E, because they're breaking that part out. So there are 4 new items on your bill that you didn't previously see when you were a bundled customer of PG&E. Those include EBCE net charges, which is the amount that you pay to EBCE, the power charge and difference adjustment, which is like an exit fee from PG&E. Since you're not buying their power anymore, they had contracts for power that they had contracted to serve you and other customers, and if they sell the power that are in those contracts and at a loss, then they collect that from CCA customers. There's also the franchise fee, and that you've always paid. It goes to cities for use of their right-of-way. And those 3 new charges, we include those together when we set rates. So all 3 together will be at or less than PG&E's rates. And then there's the generation credit, which is what PG&E is crediting you back since you're not buying power from them. You're just paying them for the distribution and transmission of that power. So to calculate the savings on your monthly bill, you're just going to compare those 3 new charges, the EBCE net charges, the power charge and difference adjustment, and the franchise fee. You'll add those up and you'll compare that to the generation credit. And then for customers who are on our Bright Choice service, which is priced at 1.5% below PG&E's rates, you'll see 1.5% difference between the new charges and that credit. The credit will be 1.5% greater than the charges. And then for Brilliant 100 customers, you'll see price parity. So it should be the same. The generation credit should equal the charges. And then as time goes on, this is a little footnote, but since our commercial customers were part of the June enrollment, the June is in the vintage year 2017 for the PCIA, and that's a vintaged fee. So what will likely happen over time is that if you're on Bright Choice, you'll start to see probably a slightly greater than 1.5% discount. And for Brilliant 100, you might start to see a little bit of savings, because when we set rates, we'll likely use the greatest PCIA vintage fee that we have for all of our customers. And so if you have a better PCIe, you'll get a better discount. That's just sort of down in the weeds, but just to let you know, rates will change in 2019, and the numbers might not add up exactly after that point, since we'll be serving multiple PCIe vintages, but we'll always try and give the benefit to the customer. And so I think for you on the 2017 vintage who enrolled in June, you'll see probably a slight benefit there if the PCIe goes up, which it is scheduled to do. So now I'll walk you through an example, and I'll show you what the bill looks like, and then I'll go back through and calculate it with you. So you'll see here, this is the first page that you see on your bill, and here it says East Bay Community Energy Electric Generation. Down here, the electric generation charge, and that's an amount that actually includes a tax. And so I'll show you how there's a later point in your bill where it says net charges, and that's actually the true number that you're paying to EBCE. This number that's presented on page 1 includes some fees that you would pay whether or not you're on our service. So that's the first sign that you see on your bill of EBCE, but it's not a number that you'll use when you're calculating the savings. On the next page that I'm showing here, that is a screenshot of the page for each account that PG&E serves. These are PG&E's charges. What you'll find on here are a few items that are relevant to calculating out your savings. Those include the generation credits, which you can see here as a number, negative 12,000 and change. So that's what you would have paid PG earlier, which are 2 new charges. And so you'll be using those 2 numbers when you're calculating your savings. And then here on this last screenshot page, you'll see the EBCE net charges, which are right here, $9,436. That's the amount that EBCE actually collects from you for our service. That first, the charge that shows up on page 1 of your bill also includes this Energy Commission tax, and you can see the total down here with that tax. But you're paying that tax whether or not you're on EBCE service. So when we're doing the comparison, we just leave that to the side. And I should say, you'll see these annotations here with the numbers, number 12 and 13, 14. That's from an annotated bill that we have on our website. So you can walk through and see the explanations of all of these different billing elements. And on the last page, I have the URL for that, or you can find it if you go to our website and click on rates, business rates, you'll find the annotated bill. So then moving on, here's how to calculate your savings. So here are the 3 fees are presented here in a row, and then those are all added up here to the subtotal. And then there's the generation credit, and then the difference between those 2 amounts is $181. That's the savings for this particular customer. And so now I'll just go back and show you where these 3 can be found. So the first one listed here is EBCE net charges. And if you go here, you'll see EBCE net charges of $9,436. And here it is, $9,436. And then do the same for the power charge and difference adjustment and the franchise fee, which you can see is $24.12 and $63. And then if you go back here, you will see the $24.12 for the power charge and difference adjustment, and $63 for the franchise fee surcharge. So, and then you can hand calc the difference to $181. That's the savings this month for that particular customer. This is a very simple bill that I'm using as an example. It's an A10 customer who only has one SAID, one service agreement. And so your bill may be more complicated. You may have a bill that includes several premises. You may have natural gas service. You may have a bill that spans seasons, such as when you go from summer into winter. Your bill will be broken down into days that were served in summer and winter. And so that can complicate the bill, but the math and the algebra is still the same. You're still just, for each period, you're comparing the sum of the net charges, the PCIA and the franchise fee, to the generation credit. It's just when the bills get complicated, you'll see several generation credits and several PCIAs, et cetera, et cetera. So then at the bottom of this page, you'll see the URL that will take you to that sample bill, which I think is a handy tool, at ebce.org/businesses. So take a look for that. That might be helpful. And I think I'll just stop there and see if there are any questions. I guess I can mention that someone had asked about the about downloading the handout, and you should be able to see in your navigation on the webinar that I think both the slides and the annotated sample bill are available there. I can also get all of this to you by email. If you contact me, you can see my email up there, dlieberman@ebce.org. If you can't seem to download those documents, please do ping me. And then there was a question about how true-ups will show up on an invoice. And there, it's not unusual for there to be billing anomalies or errors, that can be caused by PG&E or by EBCE. And so you'll have the same, sort of true up as you would under PG&E if there's something out of place. If you do see something like that, please do contact me, and I can, walk you through what's happening on your bill. We did have some duplicate charges early on, and those, if a customer overpaid, then it showed up as a credit in the following bill that was applied. So I can talk you through all of that. And then let's see, I see some other questions. Let me click through here. There's a question about if you have a number of SAIDs, like a dozen or 2 dozen SAIDs for your business, is there an easy way to calculate? For a broad brush, you could just apply the 1.5% discount to PG&E's generation credit, and then you'd know without doing all of the math. Other than that, I can't think of an easy way to hands calculate. I'm happy to do some of that for you if you want me to, create a spreadsheet for you and show you the calculus. I can do that for you. Just ping me. But yeah, it's going to have to be done account by account, no matter what. And then people were asking about our sources of power. So we've prepared and have dropped in the mail what's called our joint rate comparison that we're sending to all business customers that shows how our rates compare to PG&E. It's actually a document that we prepared with PG&E. And in addition to the comparison of rates for an average customer, it provides our forecasted power mix compared to PG&E's forecasted power mix for 2018. And so it's just a forecast. So, we do our best to prepare that, but it may not be exactly right. So we also prepare what's called the power content label, which will be mailed out in 2019, that will tell you exactly what we did buy for supply. But just our forecast right now for Bright Choice, for example, is 19% wind, 19% solar, and 47% large hydro, which adds up to 85% carbon free, and then 15% from unspecified system power, which tends to be natural gas. And again, it's actually all on our website. If you go to resources, wondering if I can just do this while I'm talking to you. Now I think I'm locked out of browsing the web here. But on our website, you can find the mailer, which has the the supply mix. It will be sent to your billing address, or if you can't seem to find it on the website, just ping me and I'll email it to you. And let's see, someone's asking if there are unbundled RECs used as a part of the strategy, or are all of the RECs bundled? We do have a policy that will use at least less than 50% of what is the regulatory limit on RECs, which is a single-digit number. I can't recall off the top of my head exactly how small the number of RECs is compared to our overall procurement, but I'm certain it's in the low single digits. I'm not aware that we've bought any unbundled RECs at this point, and I understand it's our objective not to use unbundled RECs or to use them in as small an amount as we can, but we do have an official policy. It's published in some board meeting notes, and I believe it was no more than 50% of what's allowed by regulation. So less than 50% of the allocation that PG&E would use proportionally. It's a pretty small amount. It's single digits of our purchasing. And then a question about in the future, would the choice be indicated, say, 100%, Brilliant 100 or Bright Choice? We'll have 3 service options. In fact, starting today, I think you have 3 service options. Our third one is Renewable 100, and if I'm not mistaken, you can now, as of today, go onto the website and opt up to that product. It's a penny extra per kilowatt hour above PG&E's rates for power that's entirely from wind and solar. And so you should be able to go onto our website or call our call center and opt up to that option. So in addition to Brilliant 100 and Bright Choice, we now have a Renewable 100. And then there's a question about the forecast. I believe that's the forecast for power mix. And that is available online on our joint rate mailer. That document is online. And again, I can't surf the web while I'm talking to you now, so I wish I could direct you to it, but just ping me and I'll send that to you. We don't have a forecast beyond 2018. So it's just for our 2018 mix. And yeah, why don't I, following the webinar, we'll just email all of you since I have your email contact information. And I will send you the links that were requested, the power mix, the joint rate comparison, and we can send you a link to the slides and all of that, and even to this webinar. So time is up, and I really thank you all for your attention. And please do contact me by email or phone if you have any other questions, and I promise to follow up with everyone to share those documents that I referenced. Take care, and we'll have more webinars soon.